Hello, and welcome to another very interesting podcast of the SG Show. In today's podcast, we got a very special guest. She is the founder of Herrington Publications. She has been a motivational speaker. She is a budding entrepreneur and has been featured in multiple national and international news. She has also worked closely with multiple Hollywood celebrities and has interviewed quite a lot of them, including my very favorite Charlie Sheen. So, welcome Hazel Herrington to the SG Show. Hello.
Thank, thank you so much, Spash, for inviting me to your amazing show. I'm sure we're going to have a good time. We always have good laughs as we talk about celebrities and business. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. We're glad to have you here. So, since you work with a lot of celebrities, we'll talk about celebrities, we'll talk about Hollywood, but let's talk about the business side of your career. So, how exactly did you move from Zimbabwe? Oh, for the viewers, she actually is from Zimbabwe and she made it to Hollywood. That's a pretty huge thing. So, how did this transition happen? How did you move from Zimbabwe to Hollywood? Tell us about it.
I love how you said from Zimbabwe to Hollywood. That's the first time anyone has said it that way. It's usually from Zimbabwe to Australia. So I love that. Okay, so I had a lot of businesses in Zimbabwe. I was a serial entrepreneur. I had a restaurant doing well. And then inflation hit the country. And I had a choice to stay or, fly and jump out of the pond into the ocean. I was nervous. And what happened is that I moved to Australia. My family's in Australia. And I went back to school. And the reality is, Spash, is that as entrepreneurs, we need to keep learning. I find that a lot of entrepreneurs leave high school, get jobs, and then they stop growing their income. They'll only maybe increase their income 5% over a year, 2 years. But then if you continue to learn, I've realized that you can increase your income double that within 2 years if you continue to learn. So I educated myself and it worked. And I did a Bachelor of Business focusing on entrepreneurship. And then I linked up with an organization from the United States that visited Australia called the JT Fox Organization, an amazing organization that focuses on marketing and branding by association with celebrities. And I was like, let me just try this out. And my first speaking engagement was in South Africa. And I went to South Africa, yeah, and I spoke on a massive platform in front of 2,000 entrepreneurs with
Wow.
the first billionaire, Africa's first billionaire, Patrice Motsepe. And from then onwards, my career skyrocketed because the crowd, the reception I got was so amazing because I was swamped. That's when I started to, begin to feel that celebrity buzz. As soon as
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got off the stage, there was a whole lot of South African entrepreneurs wanting to work with me, my phone number. And then
Wow.
we had agents that were there and they said, listen, we want to see you in Los Angeles. We want you to speak in Los Angeles and we want you to interview Mel Gibson because I interviewed Mel Gibson
Wow.
first. And I tell you, Sposh, that was in April. And in less than 6 months, I was in LA. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody scratch me. Wake me up from this dream. I tell you, I cried. I remember sitting and waiting to interview Mel Gibson, and I couldn't believe I was there. And I was weeping. I was weeping because I didn't, I couldn't believe that I was there. And for the viewers that are watching, it took me investing in myself. Need I remind you, I said that I invested in an organization, in myself, in an organization that came to Australia that branded people. And that's the power in investing in yourself. Believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and the sky's the limit. Most importantly, get a mentor. We always talk about getting a mentor, networking. Your network is your net worth. And people think these are just words that we're just speaking and saying. But the reality is that a mentor can take you to your destination faster. So I repeat, in less than 6 months, I was in Hollywood and I interviewed Mel Gibson, and he was fantastic to interview.
Wow. Mind is actually blown because we've spoken quite a lot before, and I never got to know your entire story. Today is probably the first time where I'm hearing the exact story of how Hazel Herrington became the Hazel Herrington. It's pretty interesting.
Exactly.
You said something regarding the growth spur of the entrepreneurs, how they can double their monetary growth. I have a very simple formula regarding that as well. I've said this in one of my previous interviews as well. I'll tell you about it. It's pretty simple. Look, people say that you need to do tremendous growth day by day, but if you break it down, and if you do only a 1% growth for each day for the entire year, you're
Hmm.
having a 365% growth by the end of the year, which is
Oh,
almost
wow.
thrice what your current capacity is. So just
Wow.
focus on growing 1% each day. It's fairly
Yeah.
simple. So
Yeah.
that's what my ideology is. That's how I structure it. And coming to the part where you mentioned Hollywood, what was the like? I totally understand you must be overwhelmed when you went there, but what was the atmosphere? Because it's pretty glamorous. What exactly happened? What did you see when you went for the first time? What was the entire experience?
Well, I'll tell you something, Splash. The Americans are the kings of marketing and branding. They're the kings
Oh
of
yeah,
entertainment. And
yeah.
from the time I entered the United States of America, they're very welcoming. They're very confident, and I am proud to say that I've been coached, trained, and mentored by a lot of Americans, and my confidence is I have got confidence. I mean, I'm global. I think global. I don't think local. I don't think Zimbabwean. I think global because of the confidence that I've learned from the Americans. And when I arrived in Hollywood, I went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it started from there. That was my experience, is that before I interview these celebrities, let me take in, what's happening around me. And I mean, you've got all these entertainers. And the thing is that it's that culture of when I say Hollywood, that culture of um, we are here, because we're talking about business here. We are here to do business, and we are serious about business, and we are here to make sure that people, experience that Hollywood experience even before they go onto the stage. So yeah, and meet the celebrities. So it's everywhere from Disneyland. There's the spirit of excellence in America.
So if you think about it, what people say that Hollywood is glamorous, full of lights, full of cameras, full of stars, the real stars which actually live on Earth. It's kind of true, right? Like you, it must definitely feel good as well as also scary when you see quite a lot of people just recording every single word you're trying to say. So yeah, like how I feel it is that someday, I don't know, some words which I've spoken earlier, maybe 3 years, 5 years back, might be misinterpreted and used in a different way. So when you were interviewing in your early days, did you face some kind of challenges like these? Did you fear that, okay, maybe if I say this, the celebrity might get angry? Or what's the exact process of creating the script of the interview? Just tell us about that.
Yeah, that's very important. I'm a speaker branding expert as well, besides interviewing
Okay.
celebrities. And it's important to practice before you interview a celebrity. You've got to study your subject. It's the same as studying a speech for a wedding, studying your presentation on stage. So you got to study your subject. I mean, I've seen a lot of interviews that have gone wrong. There's a lady that interviewed Denzel Washington and absolutely offended him, and he walked away. You don't
Exactly.
offend the celebrity, and he's there to do business. This is the thing that people need to understand: is that Splash, we are here, we're talking, we are business entrepreneurs, we are here to make business. We are not here to offend and to degrade. So I think Oprah has been amazing as an interviewer, because when she's interviewing, she's trying to get the emotions out of you, but not trying to drag your name in the mud. She wants to hear your
Exactly.
story. So that's what it is like with me. I just want to hear your true story, the truth from your lips. And if I'm going to get you to really tell the true story, I basically have to just go with the flow and just make sure that I I'm a good listener. Good interviewers are good listeners, and they know how
True.
to ask the right questions. So ask the right questions.
So, if I take your points correctly, I am by far a good interviewer, and I'm asking pretty valid questions. Good job,
Yes,
Sparsh. Okay,
yes,
so when you say that you try to get the real side out of them, right? You try to actually understand what's behind the character that they're playing, right? Um,
yeah, yeah,
how I have how like look, I've heard multiple stories, I've read multiple news, and they say that when a person is playing a character for quite a lot of time, they kind of dwell into that character. For example,
yeah.
my favorite, Charlie Sheen, is literally a real life version of his character in Two and a Half Men. That's what the common assumption is, and look, if you think about it, it's fairly true. So
Yeah.
what do you have to say for this? Like how quickly does a character actually dwell into the entire person, into a lifestyle of the person?
Excellent question. Well, here's the thing: is that it's similar to a lie. If
Similar
you
to what?
tell a lie,
Oh, lie. Okay.
lying. So if
Yes.
you tell a lie, and every time you keep getting asked about that lie, in the end, you begin to believe it yourself. So
Well, yeah.
the
Yeah.
more of a character you play, the more you begin to believe that you are that character. That's the truth. And the
True.
problem that we have, what I've seen in Hollywood, is that the fans and the world sees a celebrity in a certain way. And so the celebrity, has a problem in that when they come out of that atmosphere where they stop shooting the scenes and the season's over, and then when they are doing something different that is not what their character is in the movie and the film, the people are confused, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is why you get a lot of celebrities getting involved in a lot of media scandals, is because the reality is that the character maybe is a perfect character in the movie, but in reality somebody's struggling with drugs and they've
Yeah.
got a drinking problem. They don't know how to handle fame. And then there's the fans and the media confused. But this guy we thought was a
Yeah.
perfect guy. But this guy had an addiction
Yeah.
that was hidden. Behind closed doors, he's taking drugs or he's looking at child porn. And this is the reality with everyone in life.
Mm,
They always say there's everyone has a secret or a skeleton in the closet.
true.
And the sad thing is that the celebrities are in the limelight. So when they
Yeah.
make a mistake, it's a huge thing
True.
compared to the average woman on the street corner who nobody knows.
True, absolutely true. Just adding on to what you said, there's this Chinese or Japanese? I think it's Chinese. No, Japanese, Japanese. There's a Japanese theory which says that each person has got three faces. One face which he shows to the public basically. The second face he shows to his friends and family, and the third face he only sees in the mirror. It's only
Yeah,
within him, like he knows or she knows that what's exactly going inside this head.
yeah,
So when you talk about celebrities, stuff like this definitely creates multiple news. In fact, if you talk about, I don't want to create any controversies by talking about what's happening in Bollywood here, but what happens is, if a person has done, let's say, a crime, or has said something which he didn't actually mean, that will be completely interpreted in a different manner, will
yes,
be
yes, yes,
projected
yes.
in a third different manner, and
Yeah,
the media will completely highlight it and project it in an entirely different face. I'm not saying
yeah,
that it happens all the time. I'm not saying that all these celebrities are innocent. But at the same time, I'm
yeah,
saying not all of them are as brutal criminals as you think they are. Charlie
yeah,
Sheen did go through a bad time. I'll definitely say that. He was an addict. He admitted that he was an addict. And he was a pretty serious addict. But he
yeah.
later grew himself in, and he started anger management, which didn't turn out as expected. But he did try. And now, still, he's got a stable fan base, which is supporting him. Anyways, much talking about Charlie Sheen. Let's talk about Mel Gibson. How was your how was your meeting with him?
Mel Gibson and I got along because of Passion of the Christ. Obviously, because he's
Passion of the what?
Passion of the Christ, his movie. So I was
Christ. Oh, yeah, yeah,
excited, yeah, because I was excited to interview because of my faith and my Christian background. And I mean that
yeah.
the Passion of the Christ was a massive hit. And
Yeah.
so I couldn't wait to interview him. And I just told him the first thing I said to him was that I'm so proud of you. And I know if I'm proud of you, I know God is proud of you. Because that movie, besides making millions, has ministered to many around the world. It's never been done.
Yeah.
And kudos to Mel Gibson. And that's the thing about him. He never quit. You must know that
Yeah.
his name was dragged in the mud
Yeah.
when with that situation with the Jewish comments, and it was a sad situation. But you know what? His name was dragged through the mud, but he got up again. And look at him today. He's filming movies. And this is the thing in Hollywood is that for some actors and actresses, their names are dragged in the mud, or they have plastic surgery where their whole image is changed and people are not interested. But they have a
Yeah.
choice. I think, as with everybody, you have a choice. Yeah, you either get up and keep moving, or you succumb to all the negative comments, bad media, start taking drugs, alcohol, feel sorry for yourself. But and for those that are listening, in life, trouble will come, trials may come. There's a time to laugh, a time to cry. There are people that died today, and we are talking. There are women that gave birth. In everyone's life, there's a time will come where something bad's going to happen, and you got a choice to stay down or to succumb to that pressure and never get up. So I want to encourage you, get up out of that circumstance, get out of that sad situation. There's no one under the sun that has ever been through something on their own and nobody else has experienced it. Arise, overcomer. Arise out of that situation.
See, guys, that's why she's such a brilliant motivational speaker. Because
Yes.
I saw the transition, and that's such a beautiful way to talk about it. We talked about a celebrity, and then we ended on a motivational note. What how beautiful that was. Okay, and just to
Thank
add
you.
on to what you said, um, look, I'm a spiritual person, and I
Yeah.
see almost everything from a spiritual point of view. Okay,
Okay.
you mentioned about the problems, and let's talk about the problems. If you
Okay.
think about it, you're a person which is living on the earth. Earth is a part of the solar system.
Yeah.
Solar system is a part of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
Milky Way galaxy is a part of multiple other galaxies.
Yeah.
And that is just the first ever universe that we're talking about. There could also be
Yeah.
multiverse, which
Yeah. Yeah.
which theoretically is possible.
Yeah.
Which basically means that if you see a problem within yourself in terms of universe, it's absolutely nothing. You don't even stand when it comes to a global power. So people just worry for their entire lives, and they waste this gem of opportunity to live as a human. And yeah, I'll definitely say that instead of worrying, just adding on to you what you said, instead of worrying, just live your life to the fullest, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, talking about living the life to the fullest, what about the Hollywood parties?
I was so blessed to attend one of the Netflix parties just before COVID hit. And I think after that, there was an invitation to another Hollywood event, but then suddenly things went bad. And so I was actually on my mojo going to all these events. And I went to the Netflix party. It was amazing. From the minute I stepped onto Ted Sarandis. He is the content director for
Okay,
Netflix. And so, I mean, he had like the carpet was fur, white fur,
right.
and I was like, wow. And can you imagine? And the food was great, the people were great. And it was my first time being at a Hollywood party. And I must say, before that party, I'd gone to the Universal private party as well.
Oh
I
yeah,
met, yeah, I met
Universal.
others, yeah, I met other celebrities there as well, and I had a lot of conversations with directors, and I think that would be like a director's producer's dream, and I was just listening and enjoying, and but now I'm now used to celebrity. So when I went to the Netflix party, I was like used to it, and I met Diane Lane, Quincy Jones, Jonah Hill, Michael Pena. I mean, I love Michael Pena in so many of the movies that he's done. I met what's this gentleman's name that sings "Cause I'm Happy." I saw
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, he came late to the party. I didn't get to meet him. I met Borat.
All
Um,
right.
yes, I met Borat. I've got photos with him. He's so funny, and I can't believe that the camera I had, because I had my phone, the flash when we were taking the photo, our first photo, the flash flashed in his face, and he actually jerked. And you know what? He's so funny and so sweet, and he
Wow.
just took it like a gentleman. And guess what? I took the second one, and something happened, and he was patient. And then I took the third one, and it was perfect. So he's kudos to
Awesome.
you. If he's watching, he's a real sport.
I actually saw your photograph with Quincy Jones, and I really like that photograph. It looks really good. We'll actually show it to the audience as well somewhere in the video. But that photo is really good. It's so natural. It's so nice. I don't have any other words because it looks like you had a very good conversation, and now you're just hanging out as friends. It's nice. And
Yeah.
what about Jonah Hill? That guy is pretty famous in India since he did Wolf of Wall Street. He's literally famous across the globe. So, and he also did Hangover, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Let,
yeah.
yeah, let me tell you my experience with Jonah Hill. So I got to the party. I was early with my group, and I hadn't yet seen any celebrities walk in. But that's what I thought, because now there was a lot of celebrities at that time. Netflix was filming a lot of movies, so all the actors and actresses were there. But I hadn't yet seen these movies, so I was surrounded by a lot of celebrities that were just coming in, and you'd see that most of the Hollywood stars weren't yet filming Netflix movies. But Jonah Hill was one of the first. And so what happened is that I was getting my drink, and I turned, and he walked in like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm at a Hollywood party.
Wow.
And he walked in, and I was like, I've got to meet him. And
Yeah, yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
it's courteous to wait. Usually when you want to meet a Hollywood star for the first time, because the guest that I was with knows them a lot, so he was doing all the introductions,
Yeah.
and then I was like, I want to meet. So whenever I wanted to meet somebody, I'd just say to him, I would like to meet him. I'd like to meet him, or her,
He
and
was kind of your Hollywood wingman.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
and so he introduced me. And the thing is that the chats are not so long because they don't really know me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's, hi, how are you? Okay, so what do you do? Because there's a lot of people, and they didn't come to make chit and chatter for hours with one person. And so we chatted a little while, talked about what I do, and then asked nicely, is it okay if we get a photo together? Talk. But the thing is that it's not as if you're this fan that's annoying and begging them for photos. No, it's like
Yeah.
a classy event. Hi, how are you? Yeah,
Of
pleasure
course.
meeting you. My name is Hazel. What? And if they want to talk to you for longer, then that's it. And if they like got other things that they're doing, they're courteous, and they go and speak to somebody else. It's just like a networking event.
In fact, has it been a scenario where a fan just literally barged into a party and like how you see football fans kind of climbing up the fence and running towards the player and then kind of hugging them and stuff. So does that also happen in Hollywood, like a random fan just jumping in and running towards the celebrity?
I haven't seen it, but I know that there's some celebrities that I wanted to take photos of, and they didn't want to. They would get
Right.
the photographer at the event to come and take the photo of us. So if you want the photo, then he would send it to you. Not all celebrities, want their photos with uh,
Exactly.
people that they just met, or they're very private, and that's okay. But personally, I think I've only seen that on television. I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, I actually remembered something which you just said. You said that Netflix started producing films with Hollywood celebrities almost two years back from now. Like that's when they actually started
Yeah,
targeting celebrities.
yeah.
Do you know what the exact reason is? There's a huge reason behind Netflix producing their own movies. Do you know about it? I read a
No.
recent article. I'll tell you about it. It's very interesting. So how Netflix makes money is how they is actually how, because they provide, they take licenses to publish movies on their platform, and
Mm-hmm.
from different companies, for example, Disney, Universal, or Marvel, any of these companies. I'm just giving random examples. So they get the licenses to put their content on their platform, and then they give out subscriptions, and then they make money. So each year, or whatever the term is, they pay these companies a certain amount to renew the license.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Uh-huh.
when the COVID pandemic hit, apps like Disney, apps
Mm-hmm.
like Marvel, apps like
Mm-hmm.
HBO, they thought that if Netflix is doing OTT, we have an unlimited supply of cash flow at this point because they're not producing any more films.
Yeah,
And they
yeah, yeah.
decided that, you know what, we'll stop giving the licenses off, and we'll host all of these movies on our own OTT platform.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
In the past 1.5 year or 2 years approximately, Netflix has lost multiple licenses, and
Oh,
that's why they're losing content every single day.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why they decide that, okay, you know what, we need to prepare our own content, because not now, maybe tomorrow, maybe after 1 week, maybe after 3 years, we might have absolutely zero content if everyone thinks to start their own OTT platform. So
Yes.
that's the reason behind Netflix. I just remembered this incident, so I thought it'll be interesting to share. And one more thing, yeah, we'll have another podcast with you where we'll talk about the business side, about the how to run international business, how to
Okay.
do multiple international ventures, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, coming back. So when you attended all of these Hollywood parties, were there any funny instances? Like, we have an entire image made of Hollywood, that okay, these Hollywood parties must be everyone's snorting drugs, or
Mm-hmm.
everyone's just like a bunch of beautiful people in the same house. That's the kind of image people have about the Hollywood parties. So what exactly happens there? You said that it's a networking event, but I just can't understand. Like, I'm talking about from a viewer's point of view. All we
Yeah.
know is that there's a huge house, there's some party going on inside, and all the celebrities which are famous are inside that. Doors closed. Please.
Okay, firstly, it was an outdoor party. So you've
Oh,
got a
okay.
bar with drinks, you've got snacks, and so everybody, it's just like, you've got canopies and waiters and waitress bringing drinks and food and
Yeah.
people talking. And the thing is that these are all the people that are involved in the movie, so it's like a get together where friends catch up and meet. And the difference is that maybe you've got a few outsiders that have been invited in, but these people do
Okay.
this all the time. So so the celebrities are excited to say, oh, well, guess what? Are we going to the Netflix party tonight? Are you coming? And then they go. It's just like a normal party. And yeah, blessed to be there. And
When
yeah,
you say that you can invite people, do they charge for it, or is it like based on your plus one, that kind of stuff?
I think it's definitely based on plus one because I interviewed Charlie Sheen, celebrities at an event, and then I was invited to this Netflix party. And the reality is, it's who you know. This is why I keep saying, get a mentor. You know, for instance, Spash, if you are doing a coaching program, I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching. If you're saying to yourself, oh, I'd love to meet a celebrity one day, I know how you can do it. I know how you can speak on global platforms. But the reality is that people don't want to invest. They want the quick way to fame. They don't want to spend. They think I'll do it on my own, but that's not how it works. Your network is your net worth. And I'll tell
Exactly.
you, I know how far you're going to go, but who you surround yourself with.
True, absolutely true. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mhm.
There's a very interesting quote by some person which said that you surround yourself with five idiots, you're probably going to be the sixth. You surround yourself with five successful people, you're probably going to be the sixth.
Yes.
So yeah, I totally agree. But what I feel is these industries are pretty. What do you say? What's the right word? Like, there are a lot of scammers there. You don't know who to trust. You have literally
Yeah.
no idea who to trust. So how do you find the perfect mentor?
Whew. I think the important thing to do is to do your due diligence. Obviously, check Google reviews. If someone is not online, but there's things that are common sense that some people ignore. Number one, they you can't find them online, and if you go online, there's a lot of criticism. People are complaining about this product,
Yeah,
and then you just think, okay, well, maybe there's nothing wrong with this product. Maybe 10, 15, 50, 100 people are lying. No, there's a problem. There's a
yeah,
problem. And I always say, if somebody doesn't want to give you information, you've got to question. Go with your
mm,
gut feeling. If your gut says to you, I this person doesn't have a website. This person, whenever I call, I can't see their face. It's just like scammers
true.
that are hiding their identity. I mean, we've all watched those weird those shows where they talk about people have been those dating shows.
Mm,
Three-quarters of the time, these people have been in a relationship online with somebody they've never seen. They've always excuses. Oh, I can't talk to you. My computer's not working. Come on.
yeah, I get it. True.
Mm,
And the fact
mm.
that these people scam people for money as well. For example, they say that, you know what, we'll get you this job, pay us this amount, you'll get the movie, you'll get a role in the movie. So
Yes.
that's directly, since the person has no other option, they kind of tend to trust them anyways.
Yeah.
And touching on the part, like, what about nepotism? Because in Bollywood, nepotism is very prevalent.
Oh.
So what happens in Hollywood? What's the scenario there?
I think in Hollywood, we've got a lot of it's I wouldn't call it nepotism, but we've got a lot of generational passing down of talent, skills, opportunities. I mean, for example, you've got Will Smith and his son following each other's footsteps. Obviously, Will's network will open doors for him. But when you talk about nepotism, I don't know if you can really apply that to Hollywood. Maybe give me an example in Bollywood how that works
I'll
because
tell you
yeah.
how. Look, you said, I'll literally refer to what you said. Um, in terms of nepotism, what how I try to see it is that
Hmm,
if I have my son, I'll obviously
hmm.
try to promote him. It's fairly obvious. But if my son is not deserving enough, I won't do so. Of
Yeah.
course, right? I'd rather put him into some other field or other industry where he'll perform much better than the rest. But I don't want to use my sources to put him into the same industry where I was working just
Mhm.
because I have got the network. So for me, that's nepotism. For me, nepotism is when you know that the other person is not deserving enough, that when the other person is not having the skill set, you still let him go because of your network, because of your so-called fame. So does that exist in Hollywood?
Of course. I mean, it's that's an obvious
It was
one.
an amazing reaction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the way you see what happens in Hollywood is that have you seen if their children are not good actors or actresses, then they go into modeling. They open
Yeah,
doors for them in modeling,
yeah.
and but there's always a door that they'll open. And the sad thing is that it is sad. We've heard. I mean, that's why the Me Too movement started. Is that there were opportunities being given to people that didn't deserve it because they were doing special favors. It's the same thing. I think Hollywood um, nepotism is not really a major issue. The problem with Hollywood is the reason why we had the big scandal with Harvey Weinstein was women being asked to do things um, to get a role. You
Got the
know,
casting couch.
yes, you know,
Okay.
do this, and then you'll get the role. And I'm glad that that has come to light. You know.
So when we talk about the casting couch,
Hmm.
there's a lot of troubles happening in Bollywood as well, which are pretty similar to this. So if you think about it, the troubles of Bollywood and Hollywood are pretty similar. The nepotism is pretty similar. The fame is pretty similar as well. The only thing is that Bollywood celebrities are now getting fame in the Asian market more and more. Initially, they were confined to Indian market. Now they're getting fame in the Asian market particularly, and they're
Hmm.
also slowly entering into the UAE countries as well. Um, but with Hollywood, since they produce movies in English, majorly they tend to attract a larger audience, and it's fairly obvious.
Yeah.
Um, but since you know quite a lot of Hollywood and of course you know Bollywood as well, do you feel like there's a way ahead? Do you feel like that there's a potential collaboration, a huge collaboration? And if yes, how would it benefit to these parties?
Mm. I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you saying is that? Can you just repeat it?
I'm trying to say that if sometime the
Hmm.
Bollywood industry and the Hollywood industry,
Oh
they
yeah, yeah.
collaborate at a larger level. I'm not talking about two production houses. I'm talking about the entire industry collaborating.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's going to be huge. That's
yeah,
going to be targeting almost, I think, 2 billion people, literally
yeah,
2 billion people. So,
yeah.
how do you feel that could potentially happen?
I think it needs to happen because Hollywood and Bollywood coming together would actually create a better product in the marketplace. Fusion of cultures. I'll tell you, Bollywood is very good at singing and dancing productions, touching the emotions of people and cultural, and embracing different cultures. Whereas in America, they've got a lot of action, comedy, which is good. So when you fuse the both, you've got this product that will cater, to a good segmentation of the market. But the most important thing why Bollywood and Hollywood need to come together is because of the advancement of technology. Why? Because we need movies that are going to advance at the same time as the technology is advancing. Look at Avatar. Do you know that
Yeah,
Avatar, the level of the computers that were used to produce that movie,
I have no idea.
the amount of money, yeah, they spent a lot of money because the computer productions, just some of the scenes that they did were just phenomenal. And this is what people want. Splash, you
Yeah,
know that with artificial intelligence, we are moving so fast with technology that we want to leave no man behind. We don't want to leave Bollywood behind. So they need to move together. They need to fuse together. And if you look at most of the Bollywood top actresses, they've shifted to Hollywood. Is that not true?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. In fact,
yeah,
talking about that itself, Priyanka Chopra was
yeah.
I'll say that she was the first Bollywood actress which actually made it to Hollywood. But when I say made it, she didn't do a cameo. She did an entire TV series. So and now she's happily married there. So it's a pretty good thing. It's and I do not consider it as a brain drain. A lot of people are saying that that's brain drain in a different fashion, put into limelight. It's not brain drain. It's just taking ahead an opportunity which you saw in life. And she had an amazing opportunity. She's got an amazing husband now, which is again world famous, and she's doing pretty well. Talking about the artificial intelligence, I did read a news about Avatar's second movie. So they, I'm not entirely sure, but what I know for certain is that they're trying to create a movie wherein it'll be 4D, four dimension like 4D, but you won't be requiring glasses to actually experience the 4D. It's going to be something entirely different. So, like you have these 7D experiences, which have the entire movie going on. Your seats move, and you got different things which are happening in the movie happening to you as well. So that's called the 4DX experience. So they're trying to enhance that further without the glasses. So that's what they're planning, and they're planning to launch in 2024, as per the information that I have. Pretty interesting stuff. And if you think about it, Bollywood also has its own superheroes. So just
Mhm.
like we have the Marvel characters in Hollywood, similarly we have a couple of them here. So for example, I'll give you we got Krish. Krish is played by Hrithik Roshan, who is amongst the not amongst who has been the most sexiest man alive for the past 3 to 4 years.
Mhm.
So he played the Christmas movie, and it was a grand success. At the same time, another movie called Ravan that flopped.
Okay.
It was probably the best superhero movie that was ever made in Hollywood, in Bollywood,
Mhm.
by Shah Rukh
Mhm.
Khan. You definitely know this name,
Mhm.
um, but it crashed. No one liked it. They didn't make money. So it's very hard to understand these markets. Anyways, it's been quite an amazing chat with you. Please give some parting notes for our viewers, and
Yeah.
we'll love to have you in the next podcast as well. So please.
Awesome. Well, for the viewers that are watching, I know we talk about celebrities, and it was always my dream to meet celebrities, and I thought that the pinnacle of success was meeting a celebrity. And we think, okay, when I've met a celebrity, when I make it to Hollywood, I've achieved success in it. But that's not true. That's not true, because once you meet the celebrities in Hollywood, you realize that they're all human beings. In fact, did you know that they actually wish that they were you? They could have the freedoms that you have, because they, when they sign those contracts, there comes the pressure of always having to perform and to just continue playing that role. And, their children can't even have the peace, with the paparazzi following them. So it depends on what success means to you. I'm not saying don't go for those goals. What I'm saying is that true success is not about money. It's not about going to Hollywood. True success is having a peace of mind, healthy family, healthy body, and you
True.
know what? Being able to sleep at night, you know.
Yeah.
So I wish you guys all the best, and I look forward to seeing you guys at the next podcast. And yeah, thank you, Sposh, for having me on the show.
Awesome. That was an excellent ending note. So, thank you so much for all the viewers that are watching the podcast right now. We'll definitely invite Miss Hazel Herrington again to the podcast to talk about the business side, about how to expand your business globally. We're going to have another very intellectual discussion with her. Hoping that you all liked the podcast and got to know some interesting facts about the Hollywood industry. We'll close off today's session. Do like, do share as much as you can, because very few people know about the true side of Hollywood in this country. So thank you so much for watching.